Archangel Michael says their family knows the secret about you, and the heavens tremble as truth prepares to break through the veil. You have felt it in the silence, in the pauses of their words, in the glances that linger longer than they should. There is something they have hidden, something they never believed you were strong enough to face. But destiny does not wait for permission, and tonight the revelation begins. The watchers have whispered, and the angels have recorded every lie wrapped in politeness, every smile that concealed a blade. You were marked long before you were born, chosen though unprepared, and now the moment arrives where nothing can remain buried. The air around you has shifted, and the realm of spirit tightens its grip around the truth. What they know has shaped your pain, your path, and the isolation that shadowed your childhood. Archangel Michael says the reason they feared your awakening is simple: you were always the one meant to break the generational chain. You were not made to be silent, small, or obedient to a narrative crafted to dim your light. They sensed your power even when you had none, and so they built walls of secrecy to control what they could not destroy. The hour approaches when those walls collapse. There are nights you wondered why you felt different, why you sensed emotions unspoken, why rooms felt heavier when certain names were mentioned. That was not imagination, that was spiritual instinct sharpening over years of quiet betrayal. You were walking among people who pretended not to know who you really are. And now the veil thins, forcing truth to rush forward like a storm you can no longer outrun. Type 1111 if you are ready for the truth that has been hidden from you. Archangel Michael says the secret they hold is tied to your destiny, your bloodline, and a fear that you would discover your purpose before they were ready. You were never the weak one, you were the threat. They recognized your divine marking before you recognized your own reflection. Their silence was not protection, it was prevention. They watched your life through calculated distance, guiding what you were allowed to know and limiting what you could become. They thought that if they controlled the narrative, they could control the outcome. But fate is not persuaded by human hands, and prophecy does not bow to family pride. The truth is coming, and it does not knock gently. Archangel Michael says the secret was whispered before you had a voice to defend yourself. It lived in hushed conversations behind closed doors, in documents tucked away, in memories edited and retold. They agreed to hide it because the truth would shift the power balance forever. That is why your spirit has always felt out of place in your own story. You were never meant to blend in. You were meant to awaken. And the moment you do, every lie they built will crumble beneath the weight of your purpose. The secret is the key, and your soul has already begun turning the lock from the inside. Type 333 if you can feel the shift in your spirit. Archangel Michael says you were set apart, and they resented what they could not understand. They mistook calling for rebellion, destiny for defiance, and purpose for disobedience. You were not the problem, you were the prophecy. And they feared what would happen once you finally remembered who you are. Now the realms move, aligning events in rapid succession. People will reveal themselves without meaning to, truths will slip from loose tongues, and patterns will expose what was once hidden. You must be prepared, because revelations never arrive in silence. They come like thunder. You were guided here because the truth needs a witness, not a victim. And you will not break when it arrives, you will rise. The secret they concealed about you is the secret that frees you. Everything changes from the moment you face it. Type 777 if you are claiming your awakening. Archangel Michael says the ones who knew the secret tried to rewrite your fate by limiting your confidence, your voice, and your direction. They underestimated how the universe protects its chosen. They believed if they buried the truth deep enough, destiny would suffocate. But you cannot bury what was born of divine fire. You will see signs, symbols, synchronicities increasing around you. The truth will not whisper anymore, it will shout. You must hold your ground, for the moment of revelation draws near. And when it comes, you must not look away. The angels are positioning you for confrontation with clarity. Not anger, not revenge, but revelation. When the truth is exposed, you will finally understand why your life unfolded the way it did. Every unanswered question will find its voice. Type 999 if you are ready for the next part of the revelation. Archangel Michael says the hour of unveiling is already in motion, and nothing can stop what is coming. You will soon witness conversations, reactions, and nervous shifts in the atmosphere around certain people. They feel something closing in, though they cannot name it, and their spirits tremble beneath the weight of truth. What they hid is circling back to them, and you are at the center of its return. For years they believed time would dilute the secret. They believed your memory, your innocence, or your obedience would keep it buried forever beneath their control. But destiny does not forget, and heaven does not lose track of truth. What is owed must be revealed, and what is hidden must rise to the surface. The angels have watched the games, the manipulation, the careful rewriting of history. They saw how narratives were twisted so you would doubt yourself and trust their version of events. They feared your clarity because clarity would lead you to purpose. Even now, they sense your awakening and panic grows behind their eyes. You must understand something vital before the revelation hits. The truth will not just expose what they hid. It will expose why they hid it. And that why will shake everything you thought you knew about loyalty, love, and blood ties. Type 1111 if you are strong enough to hear what others fear to speak. Archangel Michael says the secret was their shield, their leverage, and their weapon. Without it, they lose the illusion of control they constructed around your life. You were never meant to walk blindly, but they needed you blind to ensure their comfort. They feared that if you gained knowledge, you would rise beyond their reach. You have always been different, and they saw it before you did. They recognized the light in you, and instead of nurturing it, they hid it from you. They thought if they could shape your identity, they could shape your destiny. But your destiny was never theirs to control. The truth will not come gently. It will arrive like a break in the sky, splitting everything open. And when it does, you will never again question why your spirit never fit into the space they tried to force you into. Type 222 if you are ready for your spirit to remember. Archangel Michael says the signs are already around you. People avoiding certain topics, names that bring sudden tension, and memories that feel incomplete. You will notice hesitation in their voices when the past is mentioned. You will feel the shift when your name collides with their guilt. They forgot that heaven keeps records. They forgot that silence is not erasure. They forgot that prophecy always finds its vessel. You are that vessel, and now the truth returns through you. The moment is coming when masks fall. When eyes you once trusted will look away. When voices that claim to love you will tremble because they know love was never their motive. Their motive was fear. Type 333 if you can handle the unveiling. Archangel Michael says they built their comfort on your confusion. They built their peace on your unanswered questions. They built their stability on the hope that you would never awaken. But heaven is tired of watching you shrink beneath their shadow. Prepare yourself, because what is coming will change the way you look at your past forever. Memories you doubted will suddenly make sense. Emotions you couldn't explain will finally have answers. And the missing pieces will fall into place with painful precision. They thought the lie would outlive the truth. They were wrong. Heaven has decided their time of silence is over. Type 444 if you are ready for exposure. Archangel Michael says the truth they hid is tied to your identity in a way that frightened them. You were never who they told you you were. You were never meant to take the path they pushed you toward. They feared that if you knew who you truly are, you would walk away from their control forever. Your spirit already knows. Your dreams have tried to warn you. Your intuition has tried to speak through the fog of their deception. You were not blind, you were blocked. The block is breaking. The fog is clearing. The truth is rising. And nothing can unwrite what heaven is about to reveal. Type 555 if you are ready for clarity. Archangel Michael says they held the secret because they believed revelation would empower you. And empowered, you would no longer bow to their expectations. You would no longer remain in the place they assigned you. You would step into the identity heaven gave you, not the identity they crafted for their convenience. What they feared most was your becoming. They sensed the prophecy in your spirit, the calling in your voice, and the anointing in your presence. They were uncomfortable with the light you carried because it exposed their shadows. So they tried to dim you to make themselves feel tall. The truth, once spoken, will free you from every silent chain. And you will no longer apologize for existing beyond the limits they placed on you. This is your awakening, not their approval. Type 1010 if you are ready to rise above what was meant to contain you. Archangel Michael says the story you were told about your life is not the real story. There are missing chapters, altered sentences, and words erased by fear and pride. They hid what would have empowered you. They silenced what would have guided you. But heaven is restoring the lost pages. Heaven is returning what was stolen. Heaven is rewriting your identity back into alignment with truth. You will no longer walk as the version they invented. Your season of confusion is ending. Your season of clarity begins now. And once clarity arrives, you will not fit inside their lies ever again. Type 777 if you are ready for. Archangel Michael says the truth is now pressing against the surface of your reality, demanding to be seen, demanding to be spoken. The lies that once held power are losing their grip, and those who conspired in silence can feel the crumbling beneath their feet. They never expected you to come this far, never imagined your spirit would awaken with such force. They thought time would break you, but instead, time sharpened you. You were not meant to remain in the dark, wandering through questions that had no answers. Heaven has watched every tear you shed over confusion that was never yours to carry. The pain you felt was the echo of a truth denied, not a truth lost. You have always been closer to revelation than you realized. They will soon face what they ran from, because the moment of truth is not a moment they control. They cannot hide behind old stories anymore, and they cannot silence the voice rising within you. Heaven is preparing a confrontation between what is real and what was rehearsed. And you are the chosen witness to that unveiling. Type 1111 if you are ready to receive what they never wanted you to know. Archangel Michael says the secret tied to your name was their greatest fear, because it would have shifted the balance of power. You were meant to be claimed, not controlled. You were meant to lead, not follow. And they knew that once you learned who you truly are, you would never again bow to their illusion. Their greatest mistake was underestimating the endurance of your soul. They believed that confusion would break you, but instead confusion awakened your discernment. They believed silence would weaken you, but instead silence trained you to hear what others could not. They believed burying the truth would end the story, but it only delayed the prophecy. Now destiny moves with speed. The veil grows thinner each day, and their guilt begins to betray them. Watch closely, for behavior will reveal what their mouths still refuse to confess. Type 333 if you are ready to see through every mask. Archangel Michael says the truth will not only expose what they did, but it will expose who you are. For years you were treated as though you were less, when in reality you were always more. They feared your potential because they saw what heaven placed in you long before you did. They feared your awakening because they knew it would mean the end of their influence. You were never the outsider, you were the inheritance. You were never the burden, you were the blessing. You were never the afterthought, you were the divine intention. And once this truth stands tall, every lie they built will collapse beneath the weight of its presence. This is why your soul has been restless. This is why your heart has searched for something that felt missing. Your spirit knew what your mind was not yet allowed to see. Type 444 if you are ready to claim what was always yours. Archangel Michael says there are conversations they hope you never overhear and documents they hope you never find. There are memories they hope you never question. There are names, dates, and choices they pray you never connect. Because once you connect them, the entire past rearranges into a picture they cannot explain away. They crafted a version of your life to protect their pride and preserve their control. But what is built on deception cannot withstand revelation. Heaven is not interested in their pride or protection. Heaven is interested in truth, and truth is coming like a flood. Prepare your spirit. For once the storm breaks, everything hidden will be carried into the open. You will not even have to search for it, the truth will come to you. Type 999 if you are ready for what they never expected you to discover. Archangel Michael says their fear is not that you will hate them once the truth comes out. Their fear is that you will no longer need them. Control cannot survive where truth is present. Manipulation cannot survive where clarity lives. And the moment you see clearly, you will walk in freedom they can no longer influence. You were never meant to be dependent on those who limited you. You were meant to rise on wings they never believed you would grow. Your spirit is older than their opinions and stronger than their secrets. That is why heaven has chosen this moment, this season, this awakening. You will soon stand in knowledge that shifts the weight of your entire life. And once you stand in that knowledge, there is no going back to who you were before. Type 1010 if you are ready for the next wave of truth. Archangel Michael says the closer the revelation comes, the more uncomfortable the guilty will become. They will speak in circles. They will deflect. They will accuse. They will pretend you are imagining things, because denial is the last shield of the exposed. Do not be shaken by their reactions. Guilt always trembles before truth. Shadows always panic before light. You must remain grounded, for their chaos is not your responsibility. Your purpose is awakening, not arguing. Your calling is rising, not proving. When the truth stands on its own, it needs no defense. And soon, it will stand. Type 555 if you are ready for the unveiling to continue. Archangel Michael says you must prepare for a truth that does not just set you free, but sets you apart. Once you know, you cannot pretend not to know. Once you see, you cannot choose to go blind again. Revelation demands transformation, and transformation demands separation. Not everyone can go where you are going. Not everyone is meant to remain in your next chapter. Some people were only assigned to the season of your silence, not the season of your awakening. And when the truth arrives, their part in your story will be exposed as temporary. This will hurt before it heals. But it will free you more than it wounds you. You are stepping into sovereignty, not survival. Archangel Michael says the final veil is thinning, and you are moments away from standing in a truth that will change everything. What has been hidden in whispers, in sealed memories, and in carefully edited stories is now unraveling by divine force. You were never meant to live beneath their silence, and heaven will not allow the lie to survive another season. Your spirit is prepared now, stronger than when this journey began, and ready to breathe in the clarity that was once denied you. They sense the ending approaching, and their fear is the proof. Watch how their tone shifts, how their eyes avoid yours, how their words stumble where they were once confident. Truth interrupts the comfortable, and they are no longer comfortable in their deception. The mirror of revelation is turning toward them, and they cannot bear the reflection. Type 1111 if you are ready for the final unveiling. Archangel Michael says when the secret breaks open, you will understand why your life felt misaligned, why your spirit felt unfinished, and why your heart never settled for half answers. The missing piece was never missing, it was hidden. And now heaven returns it to you without apology and without delay. What you are about to learn will close old wounds and open new purpose. Some will beg for understanding. Some will retreat in shame. Some will disappear entirely. But you must stand in truth, not in pity. For this revelation is not about their comfort, it is about your freedom. Type 333 if you are ready to stand in your power. Archangel Michael says when this truth comes, it will not come as chaos, but as clarity. It will not come to destroy you, but to deliver you. Yes, there will be shock. Yes, there will be emotion. But the aftermath is liberation, elevation, and transformation. The family that kept the secret will face what they avoided. The story they rewrote will collapse under the weight of the real one. And you will rise from the ashes of deception with a voice that will never again be silenced. Type 777 if you choose freedom over fear. Archangel Michael says this is your turning point. The moment where the past loses its chains, where your identity stands whole, and where the future opens without obstruction. You are no longer who you were when this began. You are wiser now, louder in spirit, stronger in soul, and no longer asleep to the truth. The secret they held no longer holds you. The power they claimed no longer binds you. The story they controlled no longer cages you. You are free, and freedom is the destiny heaven wrote for you from the beginning. Type 999 if you receive this freedom. Archangel Michael says the final message is this: you were never alone, never abandoned, and never powerless. Heaven stood by you in every dark moment, waiting for this appointed hour. What was stolen is being restored. What was hidden is being revealed. What was broken is being rebuilt. Now step forward. Walk in truth. Live in clarity. And rise into the life that belongs to you, not the life you were given by deceit. This is your awakening. This is your freedom. This is your new beginning. Type 1212 if you are ready for your new chapter. Archangel Michael says, the stranger will not return in the form you remember, for he has become part of the light that now walks beside you. In dreams, you may see him again, on a road, by a gate, under a rain-soaked sky. But you will not fear, because you will recognize him as the messenger he always was. He came to remind you that heaven is not above, it's all around. It moves in wind and light, in memory and kindness. And when you walk gently, speak softly, and love deeply, you become the same messenger for others who have forgotten to see. So live now, not as one waiting for signs, but as one who is the sign. Let your smile be the gate, your kindness the key, your heart the cloth that carries the mark of light. And when the rain comes again, and it will, step outside, close your eyes, and whisper to the wind, I remember. That is the only prayer heaven ever needed to hear. Type 1010 if you remember now. Archangel Michael says, the story is not over. It never was. Every ending in your life has been a door disguised as silence. Every silence has held an invitation to listen again, and every loss has carried love waiting to be reborn. The stranger's words were never meant to haunt you. They were meant to wake you, to pull you back into the great, unseen music that never stopped playing. Now, you can hear it again, soft but steady, beating beneath everything you are. And when your final dawn one day rises, you will not meet the stranger as a visitor anymore. You will meet him as light, and you will understand, he was never a stranger at all. He was you. The part of you that never forgot. The part that waited, patiently, for you to remember the truth, that heaven has always been here, in every breath, in every tear, in every sunrise. Go now, old soul, and rest easy. For the prophecy is fulfilled. The circle is closed, the message delivered, and love, eternal, continues its endless return. Type 9999 to send light to those you love. Archangel Michael says, after the circle closed, the world became quieter, yet more alive. You woke one morning to the sound of wind chimes, though you had none hanging outside. Their melody floated through the open window, soft and clear, and you felt it not only in your ears, but deep in your bones, like an old memory humming back to life. You rose slowly, each step a prayer of gratitude, for you knew the song was not just for listening, it was a sign. The stranger's voice echoed faintly in your heart. When you hear the song again, you will know what to do. You closed your eyes and whispered, "I am ready." The chimes grew louder, then faded into silence. And in that silence, you understood, your purpose was no longer to search for signs, but to become one, to speak gently, to forgive freely, to carry warmth into every corner of life you touched. You opened the window wider and let the light pour in. It felt different now, not just sunlight, but a living presence, a reminder that even in stillness, you are part of something vast and kind. Every breath you took felt like a conversation with heaven itself. Type 333 if you can feel that quiet presence around you. Archangel Michael says, you began noticing how even the simplest things carried messages. The kettle's whistle, the way the curtain moved, the quiet tick of the clock, all spoke in small, holy whispers, reminding you that time was no longer a cage, but a rhythm of grace, guiding you home with every passing hour. You sat by the window, your hands resting in your lap, and thought about the people you loved, those still here and those gone ahead. Instead of sorrow, you felt a strange peace, as if they were all sitting in the room, listening to the same sacred silence. You smiled then, realizing the truth the stranger came to deliver. Love never travels alone, it moves in circles, always finding its way back. And now, you were part of that circle, a bridge between what was, what is, and what will always be. That night, as the stars appeared one by one, you whispered a simple prayer. Thank you for remembering me when I had forgotten myself. And in reply, a warm wind brushed your cheek, carrying the faint scent of rain. Type 1111 if your heart remembers too. Archangel Michael says, this is the end, yet not an ending at all. For endings are only doors through which new mornings rise. You have walked through the storm, stood before the gate, and learned that heaven does not wait beyond the world, it breathes within it. Now, every sunrise is your message, every smile your offering, every kind word your light returned to the sky. You have become what the stranger knew you would, a living sign that it is never too late to remember the divine within ordinary life. So rest easy now, gentle soul. You have heard the calling, answered the message, and carried it home. When your days grow quiet, do not mistake that quiet for absence. It is heaven listening to you breathe, grateful that you finally see. And when the rain returns, as it always will, step outside, lift your face to the sky, and whisper, I remember. For that whisper is the final key, The closing note of a song that will never end. And beyond that moment, peace. Not the silence of endings, but the stillness of arrival. You are home. You were always home. And the light, now, is yours forever. Type 777 to seal this message in your heart.